Today we're ranking some of the worst battle royales that you probably have never heard of before, so let's start off with the best of the worst, Valgrave Immortal Planes. Now Valgrave is a combo-focused spellcasting game, kind of like how Spellbreak used to be, but in my opinion the combat system here is just way better because there's so many different spells, so many different possibilities. You got meteors, you got energy blasts, you got laser beams. The possibilities are near endless with how many different combinations you can rock with, and with all of that together you can create some really cool combat moments, but unfortunately the player base in Valgrave is pretty much dead, just like almost every other video game in this list, but at least you can go against bots. That's like bare minimum for a battle royale game. You should be able to go against bots, and not only that, there's also some NPCs on the map that you can eliminate to level up, and then you can also kill enemies to get stronger as well. So not only do you have the layers of like spell casting, but there's also like a leveling system, and if there's any battle royale that I kind of wish would just pop off, it would definitely have to be this one, because you know it has so much potential with how many different layers of complexity it has, and honestly you can get some really cool clips out of this game. So Valgrave is an easy S tier in my opinion. Alright, so I have to tell you something about this next game, Amber Battle Royale. If you're worried that AI is eventually going to take over the gaming sphere and it's going to revolutionize the future and replace all your jobs, well maybe that'll happen in the future, but AI right now in video games is just not it. And this is how the game works. Let me just explain it, right? You start it up and you're greeted with this weird ass ChatGPT bot that you're just supposed to talk to, I guess, and you know, you can kind of just ask it questions, and whenever you get tired of answering that, well I guess you can just go ahead and play the Battle Royale. But it's just kind of weird how they would just put an AI chatbot in the front of the game, and to make matters worse, when you actually manage to get into the game, the character just does not stop quipping the most cringiest lines you've ever heard.
Looks like I stumbled into the world's deadliest fashion show. Praying my outfit distracts them from my lack of skill. On
God, having to deal with the quipping almost every 10 seconds nonstop is one of the most miserable game times you'll ever have. Now for the gameplay experience itself in Amber Battle Royale, all you do is drop down into the map using a propeller thing, and you kind of just wander around killing some bots. There's a couple of guns you can use, I guess, and well, there's nothing really magical about the game. You got the AI chatbots, you got the annoying quips, and then you got nothing to do in the game, right? So easy F tier, unfortunately. Now this next game is actually a fun concept. This is interesting, innovative, it's the future of gaming, but this time it's in the past. Imagine you're a broke boy in medieval times and you're pinned against other broke boys fighting in a giant battle royale. That's called Peasant Royale. So you attack with glaives, with throwing axes, with broken swords, and the map itself looks really well made, looks really well designed. I don't really know if these are borrowed assets or not, and if they are, then they mixed and matched them all pretty nicely, but the game looks beautiful. You know, there's no bright, vibrant pink Fortnite colors, so it's a really cool game that I kind of wish you could play against other players, but the lobbies are, you know, kind of dead, which is kind of sad because the game came out December of last year, so it's fairly recent. It's like less than a month old. But Peasant Royale honestly seems like a game that would be extremely fun if under the right circumstances you could find 100 players that fit into the lobby and you can all get together and play. That seems like a fairy tale, unfortunately, but you know, who knows? It might actually pick up some steam at some point. Peasant Royale, because it doesn't fill up the lobbies and you can't go against bots, I'm gonna give it a B tier, or if the lobbies were full, easy S tier, but because it has none of that, B tier is pretty fine for it. Alright, so now imagine you're a mannequin at a retail store and you have to fight other mannequins using retail store items, or just plainly just chucking furniture at each other. That's what Retail Royale actually is. 16-player lobbies, it looks super fun to play with friends, and surprisingly has layers to it because you have weapons, and all the weapons, it's like things you can find at Walmart. Plus there's a crafting system in the game, there's materials you can gather. Just be the last mannequin standing in this IKEA ripoff. But it's kind of weird because IKEA, you know, traditionally it sells furniture. It doesn't really sell clothes, and mannequins are used for selling clothes. So why do you have mannequins in IKEA? I don't really know. I haven't been to IKEA in years, so leave a comment if you've been to IKEA recently and you see mannequins. I would love to confirm that. But Retail Royale, the player base is dead. Although you can play with bots, these are some of the stupidest bots you've ever played against. You know, to the point that's almost like a hilarious level. There's nothing scarier than dumb AI, because smart AI, you know what they're gonna do, you can kind of predict it, but dumb AI is really just like unpredictable. And that's what makes them frightening. So Retail Royale, I'm just gonna have to give it a B tier. Alright, so out of all the battle royales we're talking about today, this one's kind of like the most peculiar one, I would say, because Catch Royale, yes, it is a battle royale, but you either play as a hunter or as a fox. And you're not really shooting to eliminate each other, you're playing a game of tag, which makes no sense because the hunters are running around with guns that, you know, you can't even use. You have to physically make contact with the foxes that you're hunting. So the game does let you queue up with bots just in case you can't find the 250 people you need to play Catch Royale with. But let's talk about about the gameplay for a second. The game looks like it runs at 20 frames per second, and the color palettes and the aesthetics of the game almost make it seem like it was made for CRT televisions, you know, the old school ones. But unfortunately, the experience in gameplay is so bad that if you do manage to get into the game, you'll probably win by doing absolutely nothing. Because when you, the hunter, manages to tag the fox, it blows up, so that's kind of funny to see. But the AI in the foxes is just so dumb that they run towards the ring and end up blowing themselves up anyway, so you can literally stand still and do nothing, and you're gonna win the game. And although the concept of Catch Royale does sound really fun, like imagine you had different power-ups and movement abilities, the current Catch Royale that we're dealing with, unfortunately, it doesn't even pan out as a mobile game. It's just an unfortunate D-tier experience that we have today in our little tier list. Okay, so this is the love child between Minecraft and Call of Duty. This is called Mine Royale, and it's the only game I actually paid $1 for, and what $1 I wasted here. Literally nobody asked for this game. The graphics look like they were pulled from something made in 2010, and worst of all, the community could not be more dead, specifically because of that dollar thing I mentioned, because the whole premise of a battle royale is you want as many people playing your game to fill your lobbies, these massive 100-player lobbies, but if you give them a paywall before they even get the chance to get into the game, that's already cutting off 90% of the player base. So if you're thinking about making battle royale free to play, battle passes, skins, that's how you succeed. But overall, talking about gameplay, it does seem fun, I guess, for what it is. I would probably pick this up, play it for like 5 minutes before I'm like, okay, I'm done with it, and now let's go play a real battle royale. Now let's go play some Fortnite. But yeah, Mine Royale is basically just a Minecraft-looking battle royale. There's way better Minecraft-looking battle royales out there, like Pixel Strike 3D, and Pixel Strike 3D actually has a player base. But Mine Royale, this is a dead game, unfortunately, right? The pricing is not good whatsoever, so rank D tier. D-Gen Royale I decided to add into this list because when I got into the game, it looked pretty fun, right? I thought the skins were wacky and vibrant, the shooting was okay, but let me tell you all the red flags about D-Gen Royale. Like, number one, there's barely any variety in guns. I think I only saw like 3 different ones while I was running around. Number two, the spawn points literally make no sense because you could die and respawn, and you could actually respawn right next to your opponent, sometimes even on top of them, which is just absolutely wild. And why are we even talking about respawning in a battle royale? Because this game is a massive clickbait because D-Gen Royale isn't even a battle royale. I think I got clickbaited super hard on this one. This is my bad. You know, I went into it thinking it was a BR, and the more I played it, the more I was like, wait, where's the battle royale aspect? So yeah, D-Gen Royale, easy F tier. That's on me though. Alright, so you remember Amber Battle Royale, right? The AI-driven one? Well, Worldwide Battle Royale, if you give it a good look, you can kind of tell that this game was sort of made like by the same people, right? Or at least they probably shared some assets here and there because you look at the publishers, they're completely different publishers, but like, come on, the same dropship, the same propeller thing, like even the movement looks very similar. But Worldwide Battle Royale, the concept about it is that you can actually play in places in real life. You can fight Battle Royale in London, in New York City. That's the whole shtick in the game, and yes, it does sound interesting, but once you actually get into the game, you realize that, wow, from far away, this map looks amazing, but when you actually drop down into the surface, you're like, holy crap, this is a polygonal cluster F. Someone probably bootlegged the version of Google Maps and they made this whole low poly mess. Everything in the map looks unfinished. Some of the areas you're walking in, literally it's just like a flat picture on the floor. And the worst part is that this game came out a year after Amber Battle Royale, so it's just like they just took a massive step down, and the game itself is just technically unplayable because the map is massive. There's no weapons to loot, and the ring closes so fast that you don't even have the chance to do anything in the game other than just like run towards circle, because if you stop and take a break for just a moment, you're left behind in the ring and you just die to ring damage. So Worldwide Battle Royale, C for effort, F for execution, unfortunately. And the last game I want to talk about today is called Pirates of Heaven, and this is what I would call a mashup experiment, because what would happen if you took pirates and you put them on flying battleships in the sky in a battle royale mode, but there's also grappling hooks, by the way. Now, Pirates looks really early in development, so I'm not going to be too harsh on how it looks or how it runs, or the frame rate stuttering or anything of that nature, but taking the game at face value, all you do is drive your ship around, walk around some of the islands, and grapple between the islands. But the main objective of the game is to keep your ship safe and try to destroy the enemy ships that are just floating around. And judging by the aesthetics of the game and the mechanics that you kind of see like the devs are going for, I don't really see this game being a battle royale, to be honest. Like, maybe it's just me, but I see this game and I'm like, oh, this could be a story mode game, or oh, online arena multiplayer shooter game, right? Something of that nature, but a battle royale in this whole arena that we're fighting in, I don't know what it is about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not the game developer. The thing is that when you're a game developer, you can make a game about just about anything, and you can make your game however the hell you want, right? I'm just some dude on the internet giving out opinions that literally nobody asked for, but I'm just here to make a tier list about video games, especially battle royales that you have probably never heard of. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is the whole tier list. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.